For this session on NDTV Yuva, we have the sitar sensation who is pushing the boundaries of traditional Indian classical music, infusing it with modern beats and fresh vibes. As the last disciple of the legendary Pandit Ravi Shankar, Rishab's got the skills and the legacy to take the music world by storm. But that's not all. He's also on a mission to break the silence around mental health, using his music as a powerful tool for healing and self-expression. So let's welcome the incredibly talented Rishab Sharma. Can we please have a big round of applause?
Thank you so much.
Rishab, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you with us here today on NDTV Yuva. You know, I mean, coming from a family steeped in music, you were literally born into the world of melodies. You started with the guitar, and then you somewhere saw that, the broken sitar. Take us through your journey, because you started this at a very young age, at the age of 10, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, that's
So
right.
what drew you to the sitar?
So, as you mentioned that I used to play the guitar, my parents never forced me, even though, these instruments were around us. And we are known as the premium manufacturers of Indian classical instruments. And everyone from Pandit Ravi Shankar ji to George Harrison to Herbie Hancock, all of these global phenomena artists used to come to my dad, Sanjay Rikhiram. Even though it was in the house, but it was never forced on us that, you have to do this.
So no pressure?
Zero pressure. And actually, it was to the point that my dad won't let me touch a sitar because he's like, you don't know, how to play it, so you're going to break it. Or you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to pop a string and hurt yourself. He was more keen on actually teaching my older brother, Mukul. And funny enough, I wasn't even let into the room that he would be learning in. So I used to, look through the window, like what's happening inside. And but eventually, as you mentioned, there was a broken sitar that I think my dad shipped to Switzerland, and the client sent it back because obviously it was broken. And then I asked my dad, Dad, can I try this instrument? Because it's already broken. How much more can I break it? So he was in a good mood that day. He's like, okay, give it a shot. And, within minutes, I figured out Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa and started playing songs on it. Like, I started playing Green Day on it. Whatever guitar knowledge that I had, I started implementing that on the sitar. And he was astonished. He was like, wow, how do you know all of this? I was like, it's very similar to the guitar. And credit goes to him because he made the sitar so easy to play. So it was one of the smaller sitars that he's innovated. It's called the studio sitar, which he made for Pandit Ravi Shankar ji because he had a frozen shoulder, so he couldn't handle the big sitar. So it was so easy to play. Within minutes, I figured out all these songs, and then he was like, okay, from tomorrow your lessons start.
So, actually, if you look at it, he was wondering from where you learned it or how you played it so well.
Yeah.
And obviously you had the melody or music in you, like you
In
said,
yours,
you grew
yeah.
up. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But and what does your father have to say today? अब क्या कहते हैं आपके पापा? Because तब वो कह रहे थे कि अगर टूट गया, I won't give it to you.
Yeah.
So then and now, how does he react to it now?
Well, I'm his biggest client now, so he loves it.
Biggest client.
Yeah. No, he's very supportive. And even last time when we were touring India last year, he was there in most of the cities, making sure, my sitar is in tune, everything is going well, the lighting on me is proper. So there was some speculation around the time where when I started Sitar For Mental Health, naturally because it's so stigmatized, talking about mental health and all of that. But eventually they came around after, they saw like the real life changes that we're making, like people coming up to me and opening up about mental health, crying, sobbing, and how my music has helped them. Watching that, also helped them be more open about mental health. And now they're full-on supporters of mine. The loudest claps you'll hear will be my parents. And this tour, they're coming with me everywhere.
Obviously, I'm sure, proud parents, of course, and also the cause at such a young age, which you've picked up when you talk about mental health. Like you said, people come up to you, obviously helping somebody at that level, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Any story you would like to share with our audience here on what kind of, reaction do people have when they look at music as a therapy?
See, I'll be very honest. I started Sitar For Mental Health for very selfish reasons.
Yeah.
I wanted to heal myself because I was coping with my grandfather's death. And I was completely, utterly broken when we lost him. And he was like my best friend. I was closer to him than my own parents because my parents used to travel a lot and we got to spend a lot of time with him. So after his demise, I was completely broken. I was going through anxiety and depression. I wasn't myself. I didn't feel like I'm in my skin. And music is something that brought me out of it. Playing sitar, and that goes back to my school days also. Any bad day at school, I would come home and practice it out. Like I would lock myself into the room and just, if you've seen Whiplash, that's how I used to cope. Just, you know,
Your go-to, a stress buster.
yeah, so I would just like take everything, whatever I was feeling, out on the instrument and letting it flow. So I used to go online on Instagram and Clubhouse. These was like the two main social media platforms that were available to us during COVID. And I would just like play my heart out because there were no audiences, no shows happening. We were literally logged in our room. And how much can I play for myself?
Yeah.
Then no matter how many people were there was like 2 or 3 people, I would just play. And I would do this every day because it was helping me.
Yeah.
And eventually I would see DMs, emails of people sharing how my music has helped them and how much they enjoyed it. That sort of gave me like a motivational push. You know, just keep
More
doing
people
this.
need it.
Yeah, keep doing it. Like, and also aside from music, I would also talk about losing my grandfather, going to therapy, working on my mental health, and we would open the forum for the people. Like in Clubhouse, you had like a speaker and audience.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could invite people up to the speaker stage and let people share whatever they want to share. So we formed sort of like a community where people would come enjoy music. Some fellow musicians would join and play. Like we would do like jugalbandis, question answers through music. But also talk about mental health and dive into serious, deep conversations. So that's how we started Sitar For Mental Health.
I mean, little did you know that something what you started for yourself, to heal yourself,
Yeah.
कि कहीं ना कहीं you made a community, that dil se dil connection, and it's helped so many people because we really see the impact out there. Because
Yeah.
so many people speak about it, and mental health clearly is the need of the hour, whatever age group we look at.
Exactly, and that's how I got to know that this is something bigger than me. You know, this is like a movement.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're just like, you play, you do your effort, but when something is noble, it has the potential to become like a much larger thing. So there was this one day on Clubhouse that there were 4,000 people listening to me, and that's the limit of Clubhouse back in the day. And I was like, wow, 4,000 people listening to me, that's crazy. I've never had those numbers. We went from 4,000 followers on Instagram to like almost 3 million now. So absolutely, it's something that is much bigger than me, and we have sort of, you know, started a movement that where people are caring about mental health, and we are making some noise at least in that space.
I mean, not some noise. I think what's really heartening is to know at such a young age you thought of
Yeah.
something so big, so crucial, and need of the hour. Can we please have a big round of applause for somebody so young to think of a critical and very, very important, crucial conversation? So
Right.
well done, Rishabh. You know, just going back and talking about Pandit Ravi Shankar as the youngest and the last disciple, could you tell us what the learning experience was like?
He was a very strict teacher. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know how those typical gurujis are with the chhadi, that you make a mistake, aapko padegi ek.
Danda.
Yeah. So, and he actually had a walking stick also. But very particular in that if he wants you to play a note a certain play, like sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. So if re or dha pe aapne mean nahi liya, so you're going to hear it from him. Simple things like that. But the moment he kept down the sitar, the sweetest person on the planet, the most funniest. I think like I've gotten my humor from Guruji, like how he does wordplay, and you know, one thing he used to say was, which is not necessarily funny, but very clever wordplay for everyone who can understand Hindi. So we are in a field of performing arts, right? Performing arts ko kya bolte hain? Kartab ki vidya. So he was talking about riyaz ki, you know, riyaz kitna karna chahiye. He's like, performing arts ko kya bolte hain? Kartab ki vidya. Karoge tabi milegi. And I was like, wow, that makes sense. That actually makes sense. You know, karna to padega. Like we have to work on it every single day. Yeah. And then you reach the level of sadhana where energy just like flows effortlessly through you. So yeah, I miss him every day. There's no one like him. And when I lost him, I was just like, we lost the biggest rock star of Indian music.
Absolutely,
And
he's done so much.
I felt like I was musically orphaned, and I didn't have anyone to look up to. So yeah.
But what he taught you was obviously also helped a lot in what you are today. Like you
Yes.
said, whether it's riyaz, whether it's the discipline.
Correct.
जैसे आपने कहा कि वो strict थे, so obviously huge impact on you as well.
Yes, I would. And some people might think it's superstition or whatever, but there have been instances where Guruji has come in my dreams and taught me.
Wow.
So I would remember like the first line of a composition and second line I would forget, but like there were times that he would come in my dream and like teach me that second line. Maybe it's in my subconscious somewhere, but once you're connected with your guru like that, especially when you learn under the Guru Shishya Parampara, I feel like it's a more deeper connection and more spiritual than just taking a few classes.
Yeah, I think, which is, possible. I don't know about superstition, but like you rightly said, always learning and, him being there for you. Like, ऊपर से कहते हैं ना, जो हाथ है, like you'll always have his blessings.
I never questioned it. I was like, aa raha hai, aane do.
Absolutely.
The moment I question it, it might go away. So, yeah, that's a connection between Guru and Shishya.
No, Rishabh, I want to also ask you, you're a master of many domains. Production की बात करें, also composition and of course performance. लेकिन आप अपने कपड़े भी, you have started designing. Tell us about that. Are you enjoying that stint?
Yes. So last tour, I was working with different designers and trying to add a little bit of me on whatever they were working with, and which is sort of what I'm trying to do this year also. And to be honest, I didn't like how traditional Indian musicians dressed. On stage, it was very simple, boring white kurta pajama. I was like, kuch to naya karna padega.
Dashing.
Yeah. Same with my mehndi also. I was like, my hands are in focus. What can I do to enhance the end listener experience? So all of that came. It's all part of Shringhar, as we call it. The beauty element of your performance.
Yeah.
So now I've sort of gone into designing outfits, but also some merchandise, whatever we are putting out during our tour. So I've designed these T-shirts, some custom fits that all of you all can wear every day. So just comfortable clothing, which is still cool.
In fact, आपने श्रृंगार कहा.
Yeah.
आप मेहंदी भी, you use henna on your hands while you're performing.
Yeah.
What was the thought behind it? Because it's a great, also like you said, you wanted to be different, look different.
Right.
But tell us about that.
So, more than looking different, I know I look different. But I was like, how can we just enhance, as I said, if you are watching me, I want you to have a multi-sensory experience, right? So the mehendi that I designed with my designer Krunal in London. So first I was also on the edge about henna and using mehendi because obviously, let's just say it that it's more like a women's thing.
So breaking the gender disparity as well, right?
So even I was thinking about it,
should I not? Yeah.
So we found this material called Jagua juice, which is black ink, and which is completely natural. But the thing was, it was stain everywhere. If I would stain your couch if it was in my hands. So it was messy.
It wasn't feasible, obviously.
Yeah, but it looked like a tattoo. You can't tell it apart, if it's a tattoo or not. But then obviously it's stained everywhere. So I was this is very annoying. Then finally I was like, okay, let's just do mehendi, but we'll make a design that will look so cool yet masculine. And we came up with that design with the Trishul, the third eye of Shivji. And the whole thing is over a shivling and bel ki patiyan around it. So now I think there's a deeper spiritual meaning because I feel like I'm borrowing some energy from Shivji.
The Shakti.
And then performing whatever little I can perform. So every show I have a different variation of that now. So that's the cool thing about mehendi. You can do different designs.
You can change it and also as per your mood or the theme.
You can add elements to the city that I'm going to also. So I'm trying to experiment with that also, if you're going
Interesting, and that shows how creative you are. But Rishabh, just before the session, a lot of my colleagues were like, "Oh my God, you're interviewing Rishabh." Somebody was like, "My daughter wanted him for the wedding." Another colleague said, "Oh, my daughter is 12 years. She really loves him." So, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, जो ये सितार के तार होते हैं, आप यूथ के साथ, जो हमारे यहाँ सारे युवा बैठे हैं, उनके साथ आप कैसे कनेक्ट करते हैं? Because most importantly, it's traditional music, and in a world where we have rap, we have pop, we have so much, पर वो सितार की तार युवा के दिल से कैसे जाके छूती है?
I think for the Indian youth, representation was like a gap. Like how I felt growing up when we lost Ravi Shankar ji, that I didn't have anyone to look up to. That, I want to be like this person. So I always wanted to be that person that, a younger child would look up to me and be like, I want to be like Rishabh one day. So, a representation, and also when you have representation, then you have relatability also. Like, I wasn't able to relate to a lot of musicians because, obviously classical music has its magic, but you also need some masala and masti around it. So, I never, when I do covers or, do like modern music, I don't think, I want to attract more youth. I just like what I play, and then people
enjoy
appreciate.
what you play.
Yeah, and that, when you are coming from that place, I think that just does it for everyone also. And a third thing I would like to say is like, the youth, these instruments are handmade, so obviously they are very expensive. So the sitars that we retail for, the beginner level sitars are like 45,000, 50,000 above. Yeah. So which is hard for just like a middle class, parent to go into a shop and just like buy it off the shelf. So now I'm designing, I just launched my new brand called Vadya. So I want to design a sitar which is like from 10 to 15,000
to make it more accessible.
Yeah, so every child can have an access to a sitar. I'm always also gonna give an option of renting one to just like try it out.
At least they can try their hand.
Access hona chahiye. I feel like, once you have access, aapko laga acha hai nahi laga, that's secondary, but one should have that access.
Try to karna chahiye.
Yeah, like I had these instruments.
आपके पास टूटे वाले का access
yeah.
But at least you're thinking of that, right?
But obviously, it's a very expensive instrument, so my dad was also just like, I don't want to.
Fair enough, right? As a parent, I totally
understand.
understand.
But his meaning was like, you have to have a deeper understanding of the instrument, have the respect, because he saw how I treated my guitar, so I don't blame him. Because I would just like keep it on the bed or keep it on the floor.
But did you take it for granted because you had so many instruments? Did you ever say, was that ever?
No, because I didn't have the access to it, obviously, so I had like a very high respect for it.
Okay. Even your guitar?
Once you have something, that's when you lose respect for it. So even your
guitar?
Right? Guitar was like something that was easily available. So it's not about like having access to it because, if I break a guitar, then, 5,000-6,000 you can get another. Yeah. So, but also, we didn't have enough respect for the instruments growing up. That respect was built.
Yeah.
So that was instilled by our parents.
Since the very beginning.
Exactly.
Rishabh, you said you enjoy playing. You play what you enjoy playing. If I can ask you, as the first sitarist to perform at the White House, Diwali 2022,
right.
How was that experience? Because really putting traditional music on the global platform.
It was
really center stage.
Yeah, it was amazing. And, funnily enough, like I said no to the White House initially because... And this is not their fault at all. And I have deep respect for the White House and, the president. But the thing was that they didn't know how to present an Indian recital. So they were asking me, can you stand up and play while the guests are entering? And I was like, no, this is not how our music is supposed to be heard. And I am a student of Ravi Shankar, who is the global ambassador of this music. So, whenever I get an inquiry like that, I think, what would Guruji do in this situation? And that answers most of my questions. So I respectfully, said, I won't be able to do that. But they were very willing to work. So they were like, let us know, how can we make this work? And then I told them we need to have a riser, there has to be like a nice carpet over it or like a clean white sheet. So whatever, through, like we talked it out and they arranged a nice bench for me as, and right on the stage where the president was supposed to speak right next to the podium. So that happened. I played Chanakya, I played Tilaka Mod, I played Shiv Kailash also. And all original songs, no Bollywood or any covers. And everyone received it with so much love. Everyone in that room, there were 500 to 600 people in that, crammed in that small room.
Yeah.
But everyone was someone there, you know.
And it must be a great feeling.
It was,
I mean, taking our music, the
my
traditional
green room was the
music
China
there.
room.
Yeah.
So the China room is a room with all the cutlery from all the presidents till date. So it was on exhibition. And I was like, this is the coolest green room I've ever had. So it was a wonderful experience, yeah.
Okay, so Rishabh, before we go to our audience, if they have any questions for you, I have a fun round for you.
Okay.
Quick, fun, and I'm not going to call it the rapid fire, but it has to be rapid, okay?
Okay.
If you could have dinner with any musician, alive or from history, who would that be?
Bismillah Khan Sahab.
And why?
Because I just loved him as a person, and he also reminds me of my nano. I look at his videos. He was such a great musician and very a fun person to be around.
Bismillah Khan. Okay, what's the most unexpected place where you found inspiration for your music, where you never thought it could be an inspiration?
Mumble rap.
Okay.
Yeah, mumble rap music. You know, they do like very cool things with triplets, like so I, you know, have incorporated that in my music as well.
Okay. If you had to describe your music style in a flavor, what do you think it would taste like?
In a flavor, like a food flavor?
Yeah, food flavor.
Peri peri.
Peri peri. Okay, that's well answered.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you always carry with you to every concert? It could be a lucky charm. It could be your.
Oh, this bracelet. So this bracelet is like, I consider it my lucky bracelet, given to me by a student of mine. So apparently he, you know, this was on a shivling and was prayed to for like almost like 5 to 6 years. And then he gifted this to me.
So that with every concert you have that on.
Yeah, I would have this one, yeah.
Okay, lovely. A music icon you'd love to collaborate with?
Wow, that's a tough question. Alive or dead?
Either.
I really wanted to collaborate with my Guruji, and I'm envious of every person who got to collaborate with him, because I feel like finally now I'm ready as a sitarist and a composer to, you know, collaborate with the Ravi Shankar.
That's really from the heart, Rishabh.
Yeah.
Okay, one word to describe your music.
That's one word.
Okay, so we have the audience giving you.
They said therapy. No, go to therapy for therapy.
He does.
But I appreciate that, definitely. I would say, peace.
Peace?
Yeah, peace.
Okay, most memorable concert venue. I mean, that's a tough one to choose, but.
It's about to come on April 6th, Delhi. We are playing for about like 12,000 people at the IG Stadium.
So guys,
So
6th April.
that's the biggest Sitar For Mental Health gathering, or like a solo show that I've ever done. I've done 65,000 people
Wow.
at Howdy Modi in 2019 when Prime Minister Modi came to the US. And so I was like the headliner playing right before his speech. But
So you
this
would
is
call
my
that
show.
a memorable, but this one coming up is going to be.
Yeah,
okay
this
for
is
you.
my show, like people coming to see me, and I'm really excited about that.
Okay, Rishabh, a song that calms your mind.
आजकल तो वही चल रहा है शिव कैलाश के वासी.
Would you want to hum it? Okay, actually, I won't put that on you, but could you hum something for all of us? Do you guys want to hear Rishabh? Sorry to put you in that spot, but I think.
I'm a little under the weather. I'm not kidding. I'm on antibiotics. You know, this Delhi pollution gets to me sometimes.
Thoda sa
But thoda sa, I'll try.
We'll give you garam pani after this.
शिव कैलाशों के वासी धौलीदारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना तेरे कैलाशों का अंत न पाया तेरे कैलाशों का अंत न पाया अंत बेअंत तेरी माया ओ भोले बाबा अंत बेअंत तेरी माया. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you for that. Thank you for going beyond in spite of having a
Don't
sore
throw
throat.
things at me, please.
No, that was the only one, okay? No, but thank you. It was really, really beautiful. Thank you so much. If I can just go back to our rapid fire, some more questions.
Yeah.
An unforgettable fan moment. We have many here as well, but...
Unforgettable. Oh, yeah. So a couple came up to me. They had attended 2 of my Sitar For Mental Health shows in the past. And then we do a little audience exercise where I would tell you to, talk to a stranger. And I would give them like 3 prompts, like 3 very deep and thoughtful questions, which is going to happen in our Delhi show as well. So they, started talking to each other. And the next year they came back and they told me that they're getting married. So they met at my show. And Sitar For Mental Health is also working as a matchmaking service now. So come to the show, you might find a partner.
Very, very interesting. Okay, now quickly, if your sitar could speak, what would it say?
Rishabh, please stop annoying me.
Stop annoying me, clearly. Okay.
What are these notes?
What are these notes? Okay, favorite fashion trend to incorporate into your stage wear?
Sorry, say that again.
Favorite fashion trend to incorporate into your stage wear?
I'm really into belts now. So,
So you're trying to figure out how to incorporate that.
do belts, yeah.
Okay, hidden talent, I think, which a lot of us want to know here. Besides music, what's your hidden talent?
I produce music also, but you said besides music, right?
Besides music.
I'm okay at FIFA.
Okay,
Yeah,
FIFA, clearly.
Yeah.
Not too many mothers would want to hear that, or parents would want to hear that sitting here, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Division 1 though, but...
But you enjoy it?
Yeah, I throw my controller on my TV sometimes. And that's the only time you'll see me angry. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm like
Okay.
zen.
Okay, so clearly, I don't know if that has a good effect to you or no.
Yeah.
Okay, one message, one of my last questions. You would like your music to convey?
One message I would want my music to convey. That whatever it is that you're going through, you will overcome it.
Okay, that's I think a very important message.
Yeah.
Rishabh, again, somebody told me to ask you this, and I think it's a very important question. I know it's fag end of the interview.
Yeah.
How do you balance traditional Indian classical music with modern as well as experimental elements in your compositions?
To be honest, if I let you inside my brain, whenever I make something, I think of the 13-year-old me as an audience member. At the same time, I think of what Guruji would like. So if it's like a check from both sides, I release it.
Okay.
As simple as that.
As simple as that, clear.
Yeah, as an artist, you're always trying to, at least me, I'm always trying to impress that 13-year-old kid in me. That I want that 13-year-old me to be a fan of mine today.
Yeah, so you keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And is that the way you always connect with the youth? Because we see, aajkal ke jo yuva hai, they all connect with you. It's not like age or, how wo traditional hota tha ki, more for the elderly. But we know, youth is your fan.
Yeah.
वो ऐसी क्या चीज़ है जो आप इन सबके साथ दिल से दिल कनेक्शन करते हैं, बनाते हैं?
I think, as I said, youth needs representation. And if you look at my discography, we have made sitar or lo-fi beats. But at the same time, there's a bhajan also, Shiv Kailash. And there's something like Chanakya, which has modern production techniques, but it's based on a rag. So I feel like the youth just enjoys whatever comes from the purest place.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a culture vulture and be like, oh, dekho, Rag Darbari suno on this beat. So if it fuses well and if it's a good sounding song, it would be appreciated throughout the world, not just youth. If you come to my shows, there is grandpa also coming, the grandson is also coming.
Yeah,
and
across ages, and together.
Yeah, so you see the whole row, that's one family. So I just feel like, you just need to be true to yourself, and that is appreciated by the youth also.
I think what you actually said, they'll say being true to yourself. I have a last question for you. आपकी जिंदगी का हम करके दिखाएंगे moment क्या रहा है? When you know that, okay, I've arrived here. What has that moment been?
I have arrived, you said?
Yeah, like मेरी जिंदगी का हम करके दिखाएंगे. Like yes, I've done it,
See, I'm not going to lie that, running Sitar for Mental Health wasn't challenging. It was challenging even at home. It was, there was a lot of awkward conversations with my parents about mental health, going to therapy. So after, my dad was also a little on the edge about, if you should name it Sitar for Mental Health, because it's so direct.
Yeah.
And that's what makes people uncomfortable when it's like right in your face. So he was like, Sitar for mental wellness kar lo, Sitar for mindfulness kar lo. And I did that for some time, for a couple months. But I was like, no, that just defeats the purpose. Ki, what are we trying to achieve? So whatever, man, se lada bahut. And I was like, no, I'm going to do what I want, because I know this is, I'm going to use my voice, which is the sitar, for mental health. How can we make more noise about mental health, talk about it? Because I feel like conversation is the only way we can break the stigma. So I would share my story about my anxiety and depression at every show.
And help people come out with it as well.
Yeah, and it's so hard to, dive into the same story of my grandfather passing. But I was like literally fighting with myself that I have to do this, otherwise, how will we make a difference? So again, every year we have been 3xing our audience. And this year it has 5x'd. So I feel like, today when we went live with the tickets and our store got sold out, like all the major cities got sold out within 6 minutes.
Wow.
So I was like,
yeah, so that was the moment.
Welcome back, Indian music.
Well, Rishabh, I've really enjoyed my conversation with you, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
the audience as well. Can we please have a big round of applause?
Thank you so much,
you so
guys.
much, Rishabh, and thank you for humming. Thank you for coming and being a part of NDTV
I'm
Yuva.
so honored to be here. Thank you so much, guys. Namaste.